going to make Kicharee. So Kicharee is like kind of like chicken soup. So if you went to someone's home, it was from India, and they were serving Kicharee, they'd say, "Who isn't well? What's going on here?" So it's a really great restorative food because it's got lots of, well, typically it's got lots of oil in it. It has these things, called split mung beans. So they're yellow, and they're mung beans split in half, and then they're processed with by soaking in turmeric. And the idea is through that processing, it's a little bit less difficult on your digestive system. The whole point of Kicharee is to create a food that is incredibly untaxing on your digestive system so that all your systems have to do is get well. That's the idea. So what I'm going to do is I have my little pot and I've put my burner to 5, but I know my burner is a bit hot. The pot itself is one of those, the cast iron ones, so I know it's going to hold a lot of heat, so I don't want to have it too hot. I'm going to take a big dollop of coconut oil. You could do ghee. I don't know what else. You could do ghee. I do coconut because I have it, and because I also know that I tend toward more fire, a little bit more pitta, and I want to cool. Because I'm run down and having a bit of vertigo issues, I am going to use more than I normally would. If it was springtime, cuppa time, I wouldn't use so much oil. Okay, so we've got the coconut oil in there. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to add seeds, spice seeds, because I love them. And when you put them in oil and you let the oil heat up, then they're going to start to crack and pop. And that means that your oil is ready. It's like it's preheated, right? So I am not an exacting cook, I'll tell you that much. I could never be a baker. So there's some water on the bottom of this pot. Anyway, so cumin seeds. So what you could do when you're making Kicharee, you could make any kind of flavoring you want. Think about mung beans and rice are pretty bland, right? So you could make anything you wanted. You could make it sweet with cardamom, nutmeg. You could even put maple syrup in, cashew nuts. I like it more savory, so I do cumin, coriander, some cardamom. I'm going to put fenugreek in today because I happen to have it. I don't have fennel. If you want to cool your blood, fennel, cumin, coriander. Those are your keys. Cardamom helps as well. So all these things have medicinal properties. Cumin, ginger we're going to put in, turmeric, all these things have these amazing healing qualities, and we want to put them in our Kicharee. So as I said, I'm not an exacting cook. I put in about that much. So I don't know, I just throw some in. It's probably about a teaspoon per. So there's my cumin seed. I'm going to shake in some coriander seed, about the same amount. Isn't this great how precise I am? Julia Childs will kill me. This is fenugreek. I'm going to put some of that in. Not too much, it's pretty strong. Really great for kidneys, I believe. And I'm going to do a little bit more of the cumin seed. Okay? So then I want that to start to heat up. I want the seeds to start to pop, and that will take a little while. So while that's going about its business, let's do something else. I have about 3 cups of water on the boil because I don't want to shock the pot too much, and I want to bring it all to a boil, and you'll see soon why I have water. Okay, here we go. I have a little bit of ground ginger, lovely organic ginger from the grapevine. And what I typically do is I just grind it all up in a Cuisinart and then I freeze it. So this is it frozen. Plunk it in. Turmeric, same idea. Ground, got it a while ago at the grocery store. I ground it up, I froze it, now it is being used. That is an uber herb. So is ginger. Those herbs are so powerful. So ginger is an amazing digestive aid, amazing blood cleanser, and it's heating, but it won't raise your pitta. It won't make you angry, where a chili pepper could give you a fighting spirit. Turmeric is amazing anti-cancer, also heating without raising your pitta. Okay, all key things to know. The other thing I'm going to put in here just for fun is cardamom, because cardamom is a really good anti-vata herb. I don't want to put too much in. It's really strong, beautiful, organic cardamom. So it's a blood cooler, but it's also it also helps your digestive system. It's an amazing digestive aid. And the thing about vata is when we're also anxious, we have indigestion of the mind. So that's what we want to clear. You can hear it, right? Doesn't take long. I'm going to put in the mung beans, and the other thing that we use is a split white not split, we use a white basmati rice, because the white rice is also partially processed already. Super easy on your digestive system, as opposed to brown rice that has a husk. You notice I'm very close to this pot. I could get shot in the eye with a cumin seed. That wouldn't be so helpful, would it? Okay, so here's my rice, because I know it's going to be ready awfully soon. So what you can do when you, if you're feeling really low, or if you're curious about this whole Kicharee world, there's something called a mono diet. In a mono diet, you only eat Kicharee. It could be for a day, it could be for a week. I've done it for 3 weeks. It was really great. And the first thing you think is, oh good Lord, why would I want to eat the same food for 3 weeks? Because you're boring your digestive system so much that it starts to process properly. I'm just going to grab a different spoon. So what you would do is you would add different things to the Kicharee all the time. So if it was breakfast, maybe that's when you have raisins and cashews and a sweeter kind of Kicharee. And then in the evening, you might put some bitter greens in, like kale or collards, spinach. I love putting avocado in my Kicharee. I'm really going to try not to throw this all over the kitchen, but it's going pretty much all over the kitchen. So I don't do super well with grains. They're not a great food for me. So like rice and stuff. Rice is the least impactful, I would say, of them all. But I might actually do a little bit of extra mung bean. Normally we would do 1-for-1 rice and mung. So I would do, if I was making a big batch, I would do a cup of mung and a cup of rice. But knowing that I'm not great with rice, I might do a cup and a half of mung and then half a cup of rice, whatever you want. I'm just going to do half a cup of each this time. So this is my mung bean. I can hear it starting to pop, so I know that the oil is ready. I know that it's preheated and it's going to cook really well. I'm just trying to remember if I've forgotten anything. I don't think I have. It's so easy, hey? So I throw it in, and you really can't mess it up. As you can tell by my precise cooking skills, you can't mess this up. So there's my white basmati rice. Pour some on the ground, just so that the ground doesn't feel neglected. Pour it into your oil. So then I stir it up. So remember when you made risotto and you wanted to make sure the rice got completely covered with the oil? Same idea. I'm just stirring it around. You probably don't need to look at coconut oil for the rest of this video. There's my pretty pot. So I just want to stir it around. That's it. That is completely ready for the water. So I've done half a cup of each thing, each grain. So 1 mung and 1 rice. So now I'm going to do about 3 cups of water. So if I was making a bigger batch, cup and a cup, I would do 6 cups of water. It's pretty hot. It's been boiled. Yeah, there we go. So what I want to do is I want to know this is coming to a boil, pretty much coming to a boil, wouldn't you say? I'm going to put the lid on. So if I was doing a mono diet, or if I was using Kicharee as a main source right now, what I used to do is I would do what you just saw me do in the morning, and then I would go, I turn it off, the minute it's boiling, off it goes. I would go and have a shower, get dressed, do whatever. By the time I got back to the Kicharee, it's ready. The other thing you could do that's really cool, which I've done a lot of times too, is you could make it in a thermos if you've got a really good thermos. So you would do that oil and all the spices, put in your mung and your rice, and then throw in the hot water, close the thermos, off you go to work. and by lunchtime, you have a beautiful stew. So it's incredibly versatile. As I said, you could do anything with it. This morning I had it with pumpkin seeds. I think I even put Brazil nuts in this morning. Other mornings, just a bit of avocado. I love putting spinach in it. So the thing about Ayurveda is they don't want us to have leftovers. And I think, how does one exist without leftovers? How is it even possible? But the idea is there's not enough life energy in the food if it's been in the fridge. So what you need to do is when you're warming up that older Kicharee, throw something with life energy in it. Spinach, whatever, greens, pepitas, sunflower seeds, avocado, like yummy stuff. Tomatoes, you can put anything in this. If you're feeling really ungrounded, say it's like February-ish, root vegetables, right? Get your root vegetables going, get it to be really, really grounding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video because this just has to stew. And then I'll see you in what will seem like seconds to you, but a few minutes to me, about 15, 20 minutes, okay? Back. Okay, so a couple of things happened while I was out, while you were away. One is that I opened the lid too many times because I was getting snoopy. So I let it go down a little too much. So what I've done is I've just turned it on to like 1 or 2 and just giving a little bit of extra. You can't mess it up. So you want to bring the oil in. I've actually put a fair bit of oil in here for the amount of mung and rice I put in, but anyway. So put the oil in, get your spices in, get them popping so that you know the oil is on the right temperature. And then you put in your rice and you put in your mung, stir, 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 put in your water. So basically to a cup of grain, you want 3 cups of water. To 2 cups of grain, you want 6 cups of water. You can't go wrong. You know what I did forget too? I forgot salt. Can you imagine what Julia Child would do with me? Really, if she met me, she'd be horrified. So, it's back up to a boil. I'm going to turn it off again. Here's my Himalayan pink salt. Because I really want the minerals as well that the salt will give. I'm not really a big salt person, but I know that I'm a bit low in minerals. You know, it's been a crazy time. So I'm going to give it one last stir, and I'm going to show you just how beautiful this is. Check this out, if I don't burn myself. Check this out. To make it really picturesque for you. That's what it looks like. Just a whole bunch of grains and a little bit of water. And I want to keep some of that water. I don't want to keep boiling. I don't want to keep the lid off. Because if I kept the lid off, then it would keep drying out. I don't want it to dry out. I want it to be like chicken soup. So when I'm warming it up again, I could warm it up with a little bit more water. I could warm it up with a little bit more oil. I think there's a lot of oil in there. But I could do those things, and if I felt like it needed to be more hydrating. So it is a hydrating stew because it's got oil in it, and oil helps you hold your fluids. That sounds wrong. It acts like peat moss, and the peat moss will hold the fluid in for you so you don't get so dried out. Putting cinnamon in there would be helpful. Anything that's going to help you store some fluid. And then the spices that I chose are cooling to the blood and also digestive herbs. So this is going to help me to get back on track. I hope it helps you too. I'm really happy to share the recipe with you, but it's as simple as what I did, and then you just get creative. Who can't do something with mung beans and rice? Have a wonderful day. Good luck making your Kicharee.